You ever have one of those moments where you're sitting there, thinking you finally got your life together, and then it just flips on you? Yeah, that's pretty much how this whole thing started for me. I was engaged. We'd been together for over a year, engaged for a few months, planning for a future that at least in my head felt secure. Then out of nowhere, she started expressing doubts. At first, I thought it was just stress or nerves, but eventually she told me she wanted to end the engagement. And the timing couldn't have been more ironic, because right around then, we found out she was pregnant. You can imagine what that does to your brain. I went straight into, okay, we have to make this work for the baby. I pushed hard for us to stay together, to keep the family intact. For a minute, she was open to it. She moved in with me, and she brought her two kids. Suddenly my house wasn't just mine anymore, it was a full-on household. But it didn't last long. She kept saying she felt trapped, like being at my place made her feel cornered. So one day she packed up, called her ex, one of her kids' fathers, to help her move, and just left. I was out working a wildfire at the time. So when she needed a break from that guy and he left the state, she reached out to me again. But not to reconcile, not to try again, just for help. She made it clear she didn't want us back together, not even a conversation about it. But she still wanted support, financial support. And not just, hey, can you help with grocery support? I mean, constant asking, constant pressure. And the wild part, she wasn't willing to guarantee I'd even get a relationship with the baby we created together. She kept saying she planned to raise her alone, and I'd just pay child support. Hearing that hits different. You're excited about being a dad, but also you see the trap being built around you in real time. She shot down the idea of 50-50 custody. She told me she wouldn't commit to anything except raising the child solo. Meanwhile, she was fine with me sending money every paycheck. And look, I wanted to help. She's carrying my kid. But it's hard not to feel taken advantage of when someone keeps their hand out, while pushing you further and further away. We had agreed on a small amount, something manageable, around $500 a month, based on what she got from her other kids' fathers. But the problem was, she kept asking for more and more and more. And I kept giving it, thinking maybe this was the right thing to do. Until suddenly, I realized I was giving her 2 to 3 times what we agreed on. And that's when I finally had to say something. I asked if we could stick to the original plan, or at least have her tell me what she specifically needed: groceries, baby stuff, whatever. But she dodged that, too. She always wanted the money directly, no questions asked. On top of all that, she told me her 2 other kids' dads had stopped paying child support. One lost his job, the other works under the table. So suddenly, I wasn't just the father of my unborn child. I was becoming the replacement income for her entire household. And the worst part? Every time she spoke to her friends or family, I was painted as the guy who wasn't stepping up as a man, even though I was paying more than anyone else in her life. People around me kept saying she was taking advantage of me. And deep down, I knew they were right. But man, when you're tied up emotionally, and there's a baby involved, it's like your brain betrays you. You start making excuses for someone who wouldn't make the same sacrifices for you. Even thinking back on it now, I'm still torn. I don't want her going hungry while she's pregnant with our child. That's the last thing I want. But at the same time, I can't pretend she isn't using the situation to squeeze everything she can out of me. She even told me straight up, child support is her only income. She lives rent-free with her grandmother. And now that her other 2 dads stopped paying, if I don't step in, no one else will. But that's not my job. And that's the tough part, accepting that someone else's life decisions aren't my responsibility. Even when a baby pulls me into the middle of it, I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm trying to keep my word. But I also can't ignore the part of me that feels like I dodged a massive bullet. Because as painful as it is to admit, this is not someone I should have been building a future with. Right now, I'm trying to focus on what is my responsibility, making sure my child is taken care of, but not letting myself get drained dry by someone who refuses to meet me halfway. I know eventually a judge will decide what child support really looks like. And honestly, I'm ready for that. I need some kind of structure, some kind of boundary, because on my own it feels impossible to draw a line without guilt swallowing me whole. At the end of the day, all I can do is take care of my kid. But I can't let myself be used in the process. And yeah, it sucks. It's messy. It's emotional. But I'm learning that sometimes doing the right thing isn't about giving everything, it's about knowing where to stop